the market figuring out that it's no longer good enough just to be faster, cheaper, alternative to Ethereum or whatever it may be, or more private than Bitcoin. What people are starting to see, and I've been definitely having conversations with, people at the protocol layer talking about, okay, what can we be known for on this chain? So people are going to split down to use cases, I think. So if you're really fast and you're not super decentralized and you're very cheap, then you're very useful for the securities industry because they have massive volume and they don't care about decentralization at the level of which private money does. So there's whole different people. I think, music industry splits one way, different application tiers will use for different things, real estate, they all have different functions. So there's still a lot of space for this broad number of tokens. Obviously, a bunch of this stuff is never going to gain network adoption. That's fine. It's just the same as a VC portfolio where you understand that a bunch of these firms just won't get traction, and that's okay. Brand is undervalued as an intangible on the balance sheet. So what you're going to do is turn brand, and brand is community and network, into a tangible. So what the hell are all of these companies going to be worth? I saw some report there's like $43 trillion in the S&P 500 in intangibles. And all of this comes tangible. I mean, it's a complete revolution. And what I think the key concept that you get out of it is if you're a 12-year-old today, you are unlikely to need to work for a company.
Or go to college.
Or go to college, because you can actually participate in these cultural communities of which you are both a network participant and a network kind of motivator and activator, and you get tokens. And therefore you create universal basic equity. You're taking an equity stake in the cultural communities that you're part of, be that Disney, be it the favorite music artist, be it gaming. That is an incredible difference. So you're doing community work for income or assets. And that solves a lot of the problems that technology is creating, where technology, AI, robotics, eating the world. Well, we create something different. And I kind of like it. It also creates a very different community. If you're on Twitter, it's a toxic cesspool of people insulting you all day and a bunch of really nice people trying to learn from each other. And it's really difficult. But when in a token world, what happens is if you want your community to thrive and your token to therefore maintain value or increase in value, you're going to only encourage certain types of behavior. And generally, good behavior is going to be rewarded by the community. So you're going to change the nature, because we all are overwhelmed by social media and what it means to us and how complex it is to have everybody shouting at us all day. But when you go to an environment where it's driven by the token, it changes. You see that in Discord channels. People aren't mean to each other. They're just enthusiastic because they're all incentivized by the same thing. So there's a huge change coming here that's going to solve a lot of problems. I mean, I'm working on this actively in the background in various projects. It's coming at you much faster than you understand. If we, you see me with that adoption curve chart all the time, just trying to get people don't really yet understand what that means, right? We're 300 million active users worldwide in digital assets. It means it gets to, essentially, it's growing at 185%. We get to a 600 million plus, call it 750 million by the end of this year. Even if we have a slow year, we get to 500 million. The year after, it's 1 billion. The year after that, it's 2 billion. The year after that, it's 4 billion, right? So the speed of which this is coming, people do not comprehend. And the movement, I think, from the $2 trillion asset class today to the $200 trillion asset class that Jeff's talking about is by the end of the decade. It's the fastest growth of any asset class in all history, the fastest adoption of technology in all history, and it's going to be the fastest generation of wealth in all history. That's what's going on. And we all get lost in the day-to-day of the ups and downs of the market and, shouting at each other over Cardano versus, fucking whatever. And it's just all noise. It's just noise, because you've got the biggest, fastest secular trend any of us will ever live through. And we can participate. We don't have to be VCs. We don't have to be the rich dude who's got the access. You just need to get involved. And also keep a very open mind. as you know, Jeff and I have been trying to explain here, this is not about Bitcoin. It's not about Ethereum. It's about a complete and total business model revolution. So it's not just financial, it's everything. And once people open their minds to it, you'll see how big this is. If you take the adoption chart, when I always talk about living in the future, what does that mean? What does it mean to have 3 or 4 billion people in 6 years' time? Well, it means a complete change in everything we're doing. And that's not Bitcoin and Ethereum accruing all the value. That is what Jeff's talking about. That's social tokens, community tokens, NFTs, and that's putting up all of the other assets on chain as well. So it's a lot. There's a lot about to happen.